In the world of professional wrestling, few names command respect quite like Tyrus, the towering powerhouse known for his unmatched charisma, sharp wit, and commanding presence both in the ring and on TV. But recently, fans were left absolutely stunned when news broke that the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion had tied the knot in a private ceremony. That's right, Tyrus just got married, and everyone's been asking the same question: who's the lucky woman who stole this giant's heart? While Tyrus has always been known for keeping his personal life under wraps, this time, the story couldn't stay hidden for long. The wedding photos that surfaced online show a softer, more vulnerable side of the man fans thought they knew so well. Gone is the fierce competitor. Instead, we see a smiling husband deeply in love, sharing intimate moments that reveal a whole new chapter of his life. But here's where things get even more interesting. Tyrus didn't marry a fellow wrestler or a public figure. In fact, his new wife's background will surprise you. From her quiet upbringing to the powerful way she's influenced his life behind the scenes. Together, they've built a bond rooted in respect, loyalty, and shared values, proving that sometimes even the toughest men fall hardest for the sweetest souls. So, who is she really? What's her story? And how did this unexpected love story begin? Let's uncover the truth behind Tyrus's secret wedding and meet the woman who just became the queen of his world. Before the bright lights, championships, and fame, Tyrus's journey to happiness was far from easy. Born George Murdoch in Pasadena, California, he spent most of his early years fighting through challenges that would have broken a lesser man. Growing up in a difficult household, he was no stranger to pain or instability, something that would later shape the drive and determination fans came to admire. Tyrus's career took off in the early 2000s when he entered the wrestling scene, first training with WWE and later gaining fame as the massive enforcer known as Brodus Clay. With his size, strength, and unique personality, Tyrus became a standout performer, blending raw power with surprising humor and charisma. He was a showman through and through. But behind that tough exterior, few knew the quiet struggles he carried in his heart. For years, Tyrus avoided the spotlight when it came to his personal life. While he was confident in the ring, his relationships were a different story. He often spoke about the difficulty of maintaining trust and stability while living a life constantly on the move. Fame brought opportunities, but it also brought loneliness. That's why his fans were so shocked when the news of his marriage surfaced. It wasn't the announcement itself that caught attention, but rather the mystery behind the woman who captured his heart. Sources close to Tyrus describe his new wife as someone who prefers to stay out of the limelight. She's not a celebrity, not a social media influencer, and not part of the wrestling world. She's described as kind, intelligent, and deeply grounded, qualities that Tyrus found refreshing in a world often obsessed with appearances. Their relationship reportedly began years ago, long before most fans knew about it. It started quietly, away from cameras and fame. Friends say that what drew Tyrus to her wasn't glamour or status, it was peace. After years of chaos, betrayal, and public pressure, he finally found someone who made him feel safe. In interviews, Tyrus has hinted that finding someone who truly understands him was the biggest blessing of his life. He once mentioned that love, for him, is not about perfection, but about patience and respect. Those close to him believe his wife embodies both. The wedding itself was said to be intimate, held in a private venue surrounded by close friends and family. Guests described the event as elegant but simple, filled with laughter, warmth, and genuine emotion. Tyrus, known for his commanding presence, was reportedly emotional as he exchanged vows, calling his wife the calm to his storm. The photos that later leaked online show the couple beaming with joy, a side of Tyrus most fans have never seen. What makes their story even more touching is how his wife has supported him through the ups and downs of his career. From his time on Fox News as a political commentator to his intense wrestling schedule, she's been by his side through it all. She's credited with helping him maintain balance and focus, reminding him of what truly matters beyond fame and success. In recent months, Fans have noticed a change in Tyrus. He appears more relaxed, more at peace, and even more confident than before. He often speaks with newfound wisdom, giving advice about relationships, growth, and authenticity. Insiders say marriage has softened him in the best way possible, not by changing who he is, but by grounding him in love and stability. For a man who's faced adversity his entire life, this new chapter seems like a well-earned reward. Tyrus has finally found someone who sees beyond the fame, beyond the muscles, and beyond the stage persona, someone who loves the man, not the myth. And while he continues to keep many details private, one thing is clear: Tyrus has never looked happier. His journey proves that even after years of chaos and hardship, love can still find you when you least expect it. And sometimes, it's the quietest relationships that bring the loudest joy. While Tyrus has kept his private life closely guarded, curiosity about his wife has only grown since the news broke. Fans who've followed his journey from the wrestling ring to television were eager to know, who is the woman who finally captured the heart of one of the toughest men in entertainment? Her name, as confirmed by close friends, is Ingrid Rink, a wellness entrepreneur and fitness expert who has built a career centered around health and empowerment. She's not a celebrity in the traditional sense, but within the world of fitness and nutrition, she's a respected figure. Ingrid founded a successful meal prep company called Sensible Meals, which focuses on healthy eating and balanced lifestyles, something that aligns perfectly with Tyrus's own disciplined mindset. Their love story began in a surprisingly simple way, through friendship. Tyrus and Ingrid met several years ago through mutual acquaintances in the wellness community. At first, their connection was purely professional. Ingrid admired his dedication to personal growth and transformation, while Tyrus respected her independence and business acumen. But as they spent more time together, friendship slowly evolved into something deeper. Those who know them say their relationship wasn't built on the glitz of fame, but on shared values, resilience, honesty, and self-improvement. Both had been through tough relationships in the past, and both understood what it meant to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Ingrid once mentioned in a social media post that real love doesn't save you, it inspires you to save yourself, a sentiment that resonates with Tyrus's own journey. When they finally went public with their relationship, fans were stunned, not because it was controversial, but because it was so genuine. There were no tabloid scandals, no publicity stunts, just two people quietly growing together. Their bond became even stronger when they began raising a blended family, including children from previous relationships. Tyrus has often spoken fondly about fatherhood, saying that his wife taught him to be more patient, more present, and more grateful. Ingrid's influence on Tyrus's life can't be overstated. She played a pivotal role in helping him transition from wrestling to his television career, encouraging him to pursue opportunities beyond the ring. When Tyrus joined Fox News and later became a contributor and co-host, Ingrid was his biggest cheerleader behind the scenes. She reportedly helped him navigate the new environment, with grace and focus, a side of Tyrus that fans had rarely seen before. But Ingrid's story is just as inspiring as Tyrus's. A self-made entrepreneur and a mother, she built her business from scratch after facing personal and financial struggles. Her company started as a small local service in Louisiana and eventually grew into one of the largest meal prep businesses in the southern United States. Her mission has always been clear: to help people achieve a healthier, more balanced life without sacrificing taste or joy. That same dedication to helping others is what drew Tyrus to her. Friends say that while Tyrus has always been known for his humor and toughness, Ingrid brings out his softer, more reflective side. She's described as calm, compassionate, and incredibly driven, qualities that perfectly balance his larger-than-life personality. Together they make an unlikely but powerful pair: the outspoken wrestler and commentator and the grounded fitness entrepreneur. Despite their different worlds, their connection thrives on mutual respect. Tyrus once said during an interview, "You know you found the right one when she doesn't try to change you. She just reminds you who you really are." That statement seemed to sum up his entire relationship with Ingrid. Today, the two live a relatively quiet life away from the constant glare of Hollywood. They focus on their family, their businesses, and giving back to their communities. Tyrus frequently credits his wife for helping him become not only a better man, but also a better father and friend. For fans who followed his career from the chaotic wrestling circuits to national television, seeing Tyrus at peace is almost surreal. His story is a rare reminder that even in a world built on competition and showmanship, love, real love, doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. What began as a simple friendship has turned into one of the most heartwarming transformations of his life. And for Tyrus, that's something worth fighting for, not in the ring, but in the quiet moments at home. When the news of Tyrus and Ingrid's marriage finally broke, fans were taken completely by surprise. The wrestling community in particular couldn't believe that one of the most intimidating figures in the sport had quietly tied the knot without any public fanfare. But those who truly know Tyrus understood. This was exactly how he wanted it. For a man who's spent decades under bright lights and roaring crowds, keeping this sacred part of his life private was his way of protecting what truly mattered. The ceremony itself was small, intimate, and deeply personal. Held at a private estate surrounded by close friends and family, it reflected their shared desire for simplicity and authenticity. Ingrid wore a classic, elegant gown that perfectly matched her calm, grounded nature, while Tyrus opted for a sharp but understated suit, a far cry from his flamboyant wrestling attire. There were no media outlets, no cameras, and no social media live streams. It was, as one guest described, a celebration of two souls who had already found peace in each other. In the days that followed, snippets of their wedding began to surface online. Fans flooded social media with messages of congratulations, expressing genuine happiness for the couple. Many were touched to see the softer side of Tyrus, the man who once played fierce, intimidating characters on screen now beaming with joy. Next to the woman who had changed his life, Tyrus later admitted in an interview that the wedding was the happiest day of my life, not because of the ceremony, but because of the calm I felt. That statement said everything. For years, he'd lived a life defined by pressure, performance, and public perception. Now he had something real, a quiet love that didn't demand attention, only appreciation. After their marriage, the couple settled into a rhythm that fit their personalities perfectly. They split their time between Louisiana, where Ingrid's business is based, and Florida, where Tyrus films and works on television projects. Despite their busy schedules, they make it a point to spend time together as a family. Weekend barbecues, road trips, and movie nights have replaced the chaotic touring schedules and bright lights of wrestling arenas. Tyrus's transformation since marrying Ingrid hasn't gone unnoticed. Colleagues and close friends have remarked that he seems more grounded, more patient, and even funnier than before. The man once known for his sharp comebacks and no-nonsense attitude now speaks often about gratitude, family, and personal growth. During one interview, he even said, "Success doesn't mean anything if you don't have someone to share it with. Fame fades, family doesn't." Ingrid has also embraced her new chapter with quiet grace. Though she avoids the limelight, her influence can be seen in the way Tyrus carries himself, calmer, more introspective, and more at ease with the world. The two often collaborate on charitable efforts, especially those involving children's wellness and education. Together, they've organized community drives and health awareness programs that reflect their shared passion for giving back. Fans of Tyrus have found this new side of him deeply refreshing. Social media is filled with comments from admirers who say his story gives them hope, that even in a world where relationships are often fleeting, lasting love still exists. "Tyrus has always been larger than life," one fan wrote, "but seeing him happy and humble makes him even more human. It's clear that Ingrid isn't just his wife. She's his anchor. She's the steady force that balances his big personality, the quiet voice that reminds him to slow down and breathe." For Tyrus, who once thrived on chaos and adrenaline, this peaceful chapter represents something far greater than fame, its fulfillment. As the months have passed, Tyrus has become more open about expressing his gratitude. "When you meet the right person," he recently said, You stop chasing things that don't matter. You start building a life that does. That's exactly what he's done, and fans couldn't be happier to see it. In the months following his marriage, Tyrus began to open up in ways fans had never seen before. During interviews and talk show appearances, he spoke less about wrestling and politics, and more about gratitude, family, and what truly matters in life. The man once defined by his tough guy image had become surprisingly reflective, almost philosophical. He said that marriage hadn't just changed his personal life, it had reshaped his entire outlook on fame, success, and legacy. People think happiness comes from being on top, he once said during a podcast interview. But real happiness is when you come home, close the door, and realize you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That single line struck a chord with fans who had followed him from his early wrestling days to his rise in television. Behind the scenes, Tyrus has continued to focus on what he calls purpose over pressure. He's still active in broadcasting, but he's become more selective about his projects. Friends say that after his marriage, he learned the art of saying no, prioritizing peace and time with loved ones over the constant chase for public attention. Ingrid has been a huge part of that transformation. She encourages balance and mindfulness, reminding him that his influence extends far beyond the spotlight. Together, the couple has begun exploring philanthropic efforts aimed at helping children and families in need. They've supported programs that provide meals to underprivileged communities and advocate for wellness education in schools. It's a natural extension of Ingrid's work in the health industry, and a way for Tyrus to give back to the people who've supported him for so long. But it hasn't all been easy. Fame brings scrutiny, and privacy remains a challenge. Tyrus has admitted that maintaining boundaries between his public persona and private life takes discipline. People think they know you because they've seen you on TV, he said. But the real you, that's something you protect. It's a lesson he's learned the hard way over years in the entertainment world, and one he now takes seriously as a husband and father. Still, what's most surprising about this new chapter in his life isn't just the marriage, it's how peaceful he seems. The same man who once built a reputation on being intimidating now speaks about forgiveness, patience, and gratitude. When asked recently what advice he'd give to his younger self, he smiled and said, "Stop trying to prove you're strong. Start learning how to be happy." That quiet confidence is what fans have come to admire most about him now. They see a man who's lived many lives, a wrestler, a commentator, a father, and now a husband, and who has finally found balance among them all. His story has become more than just a tale of fame and success. It's a reminder that even the toughest people can find joy in simplicity. As for what's next, Tyrus has hinted that he might slow down professionally in the coming years. He's expressed interest in writing a second book, not about wrestling, but about personal growth and the importance of resilience. "Life doesn't always go the way you plan," he said in a recent interview. "But if you can learn to keep faith and find laughter even in the chaos, you've already won." Ingrid continues to inspire him every step of the way. Friends say the two have become inseparable partners, not just in love, but in purpose. Their story isn't about glamour or headlines. It's about two people who chose each other, stood by each other, and quietly built a life that feels real. In the end, Tyrus's journey is a powerful reflection of growth. From the wrestling ring to national television, from public controversies to private peace, he's walked a long and often unpredictable road. But now, as he looks toward the future, one thing is certain. Tyrus has found his greatest victory not in championships or fame, but in love. And for fans who've followed him for decades, that might just be the most inspiring chapter yet.